For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crying in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
There's a lamentation that young people are just not interested in politics. Also coming up in the broadcast, some people are protesting poor conditions of the roads. And we have a whole lot more between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon right here on Power 97.9 FM. We are also on YouTube and the NewsSpin Facebook page. My name is Timothy Poleon. The program goes on until 2 o'clock this afternoon with your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And of course, Kimani will be going through some of your comments in the chat room. And so, people have been complaining a whole lot about the poor state of the nation's roads. Big word, deplorable condition. It is a waste of our time traveling on those roads. It is very painful, and the pain can be excruciating. It's intolerable. It's frustrating, and it's also very costly. Well, in response, what the infrastructure minister said a few months ago, he blamed it on the rain. Just recently, well, he said to the members of the NCOPT, address certain issues happening within your membership before you can call on the government to fix the roads, such as abusing the rights of young women, as if minibus operators or drivers are the only ones doing that. So, protest action. Yeah? Not in St. Lucia. Not in St. Lucia. Yesterday, over in St. Catherine, Jamaica, some people blocked sections of the roads in that part of the Caribbean nation. And they're protesting the same thing that we are being forced to experience in St. Lucia, only in the case of our locals Well, what we do, we complain quietly. Some people call NewsSpin, and also you have a number of individuals secretly sending me videos and photographs of the poor state of our roads in St. Lucia. And one individual also informed me and introduced me to the following clips of how Jamaicans are protesting the same thing that we are going through in St. Lucia. Talking about taxi drivers and commuters and business people as well.
Taxis don't want to turn off, right? If you're coming from off the road and rain is falling, or if you have goods, you have to go straight down. Our kids we can't even find taxis who are willing to take our kids to school.
So on my way going to church, slide right there and lick my head on that piece of iron on the truck there. No animal don't live inside. We are all human beings. Yeah? And there's no way human being can live in a them condition here. No way. When we go to the road, we have to carry wipes, our wet rag, and a change of slippers to put on when we reach out on main road. And the same procedure coming.
If rain fall, about 3 days no rain to fall and water can't settle. Water can't dry up. So if it rain, when it rain there, so I dump up my gateway. Dump up my gateway and rain. Water still a flood me yard. Better me wear a water boot. I can't just up say me gonna away. If me never have a car to come out of my yard, I would have left my yard done.
Robbery and all kind of them things they can go on because we don't have no road. And I hears we are talking about and a play around thing. The MP come and him stop at one place and him not come up here so him not want to see what go on, you understand, kind of response to our people. But right now, we don't no joke thing. You say if it clear tonight, it's a black again, so yeah, they them better make up their mind to sort out the thing. You understand? Road we want.
Jamaicans agitating against the poor state of the roads. Unlike the people of St. Lucia. Not that we're saying that the people of St. Lucia should block our streets and to protest and to demand an improvement in the state and condition of our roads. And what we're saying, we're just making a comparison between what happens in jurisdictions like St. Lucia and what happens in other territories, such as Jamaica. The St. Lucia Labour Party hosted a press conference earlier today. That is ahead of its annual conference of delegates, which is scheduled for this Sunday over in Babylon. And the deputy chair of the ruling party, Mr. Michael Melius, was asked a particular question with regard to how the government plans to ensure that it wins the next general election, and what are some of the challenges, and young people not taking an active part in politics. And he summed it up by saying that in a particular era, in the 60s, young people, they were preoccupied with ensuring that their civil rights were not violated. And in the 70s, in the Caribbean in particular, most young people, particularly at attending universities in the region, they were preoccupied with fighting for political independence. Now he says young people are just not interested in politics, they don't watch the news, they don't care. We'll analyze his statement in just a moment, but let's listen to Mr. Michael Melius, Deputy Chair of the governing St. Lucia Labour Party, speaking during a press conference earlier today.
You young people are just not attracted to politics worldwide. It's not a phenomenon that takes place in St. Lucia alone. But if you look at the composition of the parliament of St. Lucia, you would see young St. Lucians on the side of the Labour Party. You talk about Jeremiah Norbert, became an MP at 30. You talk about Tennessee Kazemi. You talk about Lisa in the Senate. We are trying our best to encourage young people to participate in politics. But young people don't listen to news you're putting out there. They don't watch television. They don't even watch the news on their phone anymore. So you have to find them where they are. Whether it's on Instagram, you have to find them. You have to find ways and means of reaching young people. But it's probably an aspect of where we are in the world today. That when I was growing up in the 70s, and before that, and even in the 80s, we had something to fight for as young people. Because, you know, the conscience of a society is propelled by young people. They are the one who rebel. They are the one, university students and high school students, they are the one who go on the streets and demonstrate because they want society to change. But today, young people in the Caribbean seem to have nothing to fight for. They're not interested in politics. We're not fighting for independence like in the 70s. We're not fighting to get civil rights like in the 60s. You ask yourself, what is it that will attract them so that they become the conscience of the society? And maybe we have not found that thing.
You just heard there from the Deputy Chair of the governing St. Lucia Labour Party, Mr. Michael Willius. Earlier I said Melius, but it's Willius. I think young people, and before I go into this whole discussion, maybe I should bring in a youth. Bring in a youth. And that youth, of course, is Kimani. Are you interested in politics? Do you take an active role in politics? Do you pay attention to what is happening on the ground in St. Lucia politically?
I don't.
Why? There's a reason for that. Let me get your perspective.
I honestly don't have an interest in it. And I find that politics is a little too messy. That's it. In a nutshell, what I think about politics and why I don't get involved in politics. Sadly, I'm at a job where...
you can't escape it.
Right.
You can't run away from it.
But I'm not interested in politics.
What would cause you to be interested in, as a citizen? Because it is important, to take an active role in politics, not in elective politics to want to contest. You don't have to contest elections, but to take note what is being said, to take note of who are the people who are interested in contesting elections, whether it's male, female, the caliber, the quality of candidates that we have who could end up in our parliament, both as elected or appointed members of parliament.
What would make me have an interest in politics? I haven't given it much thought, but I think maybe if there was some sort of progression in the way that St. Lucia, I guess, grew or grows, or if there was really a change in the way the political landscape changed St. Lucia, maybe I would be interested. But I feel as if right now politics is just about what you can get for yourself, not about what you could do for the country.
A politician speaking your language, the language of young people. Are they doing that? Speaking your language?
I don't think so. No, I don't think they are.
What would appeal to you if a politician were to address issues that would impact you, your peers, etc.? What would be those topics that you want to hear from politicians?
Women's rights, maybe, but specifically women's rights. I think that would really appeal me. Maybe that would make me think, oh, well, I'm interested in what this person has to say. I would be interested in some sort of politics. Women's rights, I think so. Women in politics, I guess the topic has been floating for a while now, but sanitary products, that kind of stuff.
But what about the women who are in politics? Generally speaking, what do you think about them? Because they're supposed to be representing your interests. What about the young people in politics? Are they speaking your language?
Sad to say, women in politics right now, I don't think they are working in my interest as a woman. Again, sad to say. I think it's more so that they take a back seat when it comes to the interest of women. And I don't think... Do you think there are many youth in politics right now, Tim? I don't think they really are.
Well, the young people, they are relegated to certain roles behind the scenes, one, and also menial tasks. The putting up of the billboards, young people do that. The canvassing, young people
Creative work.
do it, creative work behind the scenes, and things of that nature. I don't think that politicians really take young people seriously, maybe because they do not have confidence in the young people. They don't see them having the talent, or the young people are being taken for granted. They don't seem to have, and the perception is they don't have the maturity. But how do you get mature in a particular area if you're not given the exposure? And if there's a kind of tokenism in the sense that we have a discussion taking place, let's include a youth, so that they could make up the numbers. So one young person or two young people, etc. In the parliament, let's include 2 women or 3 women and sprinkling, so that we could pretend that there is diversity. But more young people need to be in leadership positions in our country.
And I think a reason why young people are not invited to the table, I think it's the youthful mentality or the way that we see things. So older folks have a way of thinking that this is the way it should be done, this is how I see it, this is how it should be done. And young people are their perception or their views on it, they're diverse, they're
different. It is a perception that you feel threatened. Older people might feel threatened by young people.
I think so.
All right. But for me, it is not about the politics, but it's about the politricks. I believe that the young people are a lot brighter, more intelligent, more mature than we give them credit for.
I agree.
And the young people, unlike the old hacks, people are set in their ways. I mean, they're set in their ways. They tell you they will die being a supporter of the UWP or the SLP, or they will march for their party, irrespective of the poor performance of their party, or whatever the party is marching for, whether it makes sense or not. The young people are not into that. They are more discerning. I mean, they always have their phone in their hands, and we believe that it's only to play games. But they read, they connect with friends, not only in St. Lucia, but beyond the shores. They don't watch too much television, right? They don't use that device to watch television, but they use it to engage each other and to expose themselves to things beyond the shores of St. Lucia and via social media. We had discussions early on. A lot of young people don't watch the TV in its old form, in its traditional form. But they use the phone to do so many things. I mean, transactions, business transactions, and things of that nature. So I don't think it's a case that young people are not interested in politics. They're not interested in politics. They're not interested in the nonsense that passes for discussions in St. Lucia, and especially what is happening in the nation's parliament. How can you get any young person who is intelligent, who has young people have the tolerance for nonsense, to sit in front of your parliament and to watch nonsense and to watch all the gallerying that takes place in parliament? How politicians are so selfish. It is all about them, what is affecting them, and trying to belittle and embarrass fellow politicians. Young people are not really interested in that. And the discussions that takes place, for example, whilst Parliament is on in the chat rooms, I don't think it really involves young people. And you see young people being invited to the Parliament from the South Louis Community College and so on. You think they're really interested? Those people might be string, might be on some other thing, and can you imagine the conversation that they would have after? How disappointed they would be. Disappointing process of what transpired before them and how they are so disappointed. Young people in the main, I think they show much more maturity than a lot of adults, so-called adults, who are in the Parliament of St. Lucia. And it is for those who are in leadership positions to change that approach, change the minds and the attitude of the nation's young people by setting the right example.
And I think it's funny, we ask them to change their approach, and they always say that the youth of now are the ones of the future and whatnot. But then we don't nurture an environment for these kids to want to be the youth of the future.
I mean, take for example the women in our nation's parliament. Among the biggest hypocrites.
You said it.
Among the biggest hypocrites. They know when to keep quiet. They really know when to keep quiet. And they really know when to be voluble, when to come out and speak and to shout and to call on this individual or that individual to retract a statement and to apologize. But do it across the board. And I've said this for a very long time. Now more than ever, you have more women in leadership positions. One time you had a female governor general. You have so many permanent secretaries. You have so many government ministers, female. You have so many females who are principals, school principals, serving in the upper house, in the Senate. And you do not get the impression that there is a deliberate effort on their part to look after the interest of other women and girls. There is this 14-year-old has been missing over the last few days, maybe a week and a half, close to 2 weeks or so. And I've not heard not one female parliamentarian address that particular issue, call NewsSpin and address that youngster directly. I mean, they're just too busy propping themselves up and preparing for the next general election and preparing for opportunities whereby they could improve themselves. So many of those women, they hold leadership positions, and after that, they are pensioned, they retire, and they get back into the system. You know, you're taking somebody else, some other female's place. That's exactly what you're doing. So in more advanced jurisdictions, those people will volunteer, at the Uptown Gardens Girls Center, volunteer at various learning institutions to look after the interest of troubled girls and women. The high cost of living is taking an immense toll on women in general in St. Lucia, but on single women, single parents in particular, women who are single parents. And we're not hearing anything from those individuals. So, I think that is my perception of why young people are just not interested in politics, but they certainly have a desire to be involved in politics. Let me hear from you right now at 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. What is happening in the chat room, Kimani?
Someone says, to your point, Tim, how many politicians are welcoming the younger people and actually listen to their ideas? Most politicians see them as a threat. Someone says, LOL, Tim, leave the women alone. For the real women in our politics, as a woman disappointed in what they speak out on. Another comment, the young people must get their doctorates in telling lies before joining politics. Another comment, see the situation as if it's a half full glass, Timothy. Tim, have you forgotten the drivers protested several times during the UWP administration? Another comment, the older folks like to hold on to power because they feel irrelevant if they lose it. Because we treat the elders like crap.
We have a call via WhatsApp. Hello, good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes,
Good afternoon, Tim, and how are you?
I'm okay, ma'am. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, Tim. I was listening to your lunchtime news, and you played a clip with that same Mr. What's his name? Michael
Willius.
Whatever his name is. And there was a part where he was talking about honorable politicians.
Yeah.
We need to play that because I wonder how some of the politicians at that meeting, when he mentioned that, how they felt, Because he wants to talk about youth, but with what is happening according to you, what Kimani said, it's messy. So she doesn't want to be part of it. So the politicians now supposed to be setting the example, but they're not. The youth will not come around and get involved in that mess that's going on there. You understand?
Yeah.
They will not come and get involved in mess. And I'm happy that she said that. So the politicians now have to check themselves. Especially recently there, all these attacks on women and, all these denigrating things. I mean, this is not called for, So at the end of the day, you see why the youth don't get involved. Because it's not encouraging, it's not inviting.
And if the young people get involved, it's transactional. They want to be paid. If they want to be paid for this,
because so what? You blame them?
No, I don't.
You cannot blame them. You cannot blame them because of what is happening. The leaders don't do anything for nothing. They don't do anything. All what they say they do it for the country. Taxpayers' money is not their money. None of them. If they have to put their money in their pocket, they get refunded after because they have mental allowance, all kinds of things. So when some people think, the bossman give me $100, $20, we never know all that is entertainment allowance they have spending. It don't come out of their pocket. It's not encouraging for the youth. It is not. And then I heard an interview on, I think it's HTF last night, talking about people that are not born in St. Lucia should never become leaders in St. Lucia. This is ridiculous. I have my 2 grandsons that were born in America. So if one day they want to come to St. Lucia and want to get into politics and be a leader, how can you stop them? They are St. Lucians. You understand? They are St. Lucians.
So you say that was the poll, the question asked?
Yes, and if you hear the people, and you know what? See, I'm not putting on anybody, but some of these polls, you can just see the people they're targeting. Because the people they're targeting cannot even explain the reason why they're supporting something. When you're interviewing people on an e-poll or whatever, interview people who can explain to other people why they're saying what they're saying and what is happening. Don't go and interview people that cannot even explain. They tell you, no, they don't want that. Like the St. Jude's thing, the new hospital and the old hospital. I was listening to that interview and you could hear the people who were saying they didn't want St. Jude's. The explanations you could hear, they don't know anything about what's happening. You understand? So I would like some of these stations, when they're interviewing people, get people who can explain what is happening on the island and their reason for not supporting something. Not people that will mumble jumble and making it worse for those who don't know. People that will writing, people who are listening. And one more thing I want to say, Tim. I heard somebody congratulating Mr. Pierre for making children of St. Lucians that are in England, giving them citizenship. As far as I know, this has been for a while, because I know some of my cousins who were born in England and they have St. Lucian passports. This has been for a while. I don't think that's anything new. I heard people making a big fuss about it. I'm sure you know that, Tim. Children born in England of St. Lucians who want to come home to get their St. Lucian passport in America too. So when I'm hearing people talking as though so much of something, Mr. Pierre giving citizenship to children of, come on, man, this is nothing new. And you know what, another thing, these journalists need to ask these ministers questions. I don't know if they're not aware. You understand? This is, Tim, don't you know that?
Yes,
don't you know that, what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know.
Exactly. Exactly. So why people want to say as though it's Mr. Pierre that has been for a while. A lot of my family, the Busquets, they are entitled to a St. Lucian passport. And I want to go back to that thing again about people calling and saying they do not want, if you're not born, you cannot be a leader. I'm not saying Chinese and all these people. Now that's the thing again, going back to the selling of the passports. When you're selling passports for all these kind of citizens, they can run for politics, can they? Because they're citizens. You understand? So they stop contradicting themselves. You all keep selling passports to all kind of nations, and now you want to stop having people talking about people that have not born in countries should not do leadership. This is nonsense. You understand? And they should have some discussion on this thing to get this thing to a standstill, because I am not in favor of that. If we have our children, our grandchildren born in a foreign country, we are entitled to come here and contribute and be leaders. And this thing all came about because of Alan Shasley. Everything they're doing is that Alan Shasley they're digging. Alan Shasley don't care about them. Alan Shasley doesn't care about making St. Lucia better and doing things for St. Lucia. So let them worry. Everything's Alan on his business. Study Alan. Bye, team.
Goodbye. Thank you so much for calling. But I think to contest elections, you had to live on the island for specific period. The fact that you have a passport does not mean that automatically the fact that you have citizenship that you can contest elections. You are watching the most monitored talk show in the world. You're listening to it as well on Power 97.9 FM. Still to come, we'll also be hearing from Mr. Michael Willius, who is the deputy chair of the governing St. Lucia Labour Party, speaking about dishonorable politicians. Stay with the broadcast.
First National Bank says get the home you've always wanted with zero down. That's right, as we celebrate more than 85 years of being here for you as the first indigenous bank, we're giving 85 individuals 100% financing to achieve their dream of home ownership. This is possibly the most important decision you'll ever make. 100% financing for your dream home. Call or come into First National Bank today and ask about our zero down payment 100% financing for mortgages. First National Bank, here for you.
There is only one option when they arrive. Our services will make the dead look alive. With Bouteille and Beaufort accessibility. Remember, we have the only private cemetery. No one can match our prices from coffins to corsage. Personalized service you get when Lazarus takes charge. Quality service, no package to make your wallet bleed. Lazarus is your true friend in your time of need.
Introducing the new LuSelect Virtual Service Desk, where one click is your access to every service. From My Account to streetlight reports, requests for payment arrangements to settle arrears, change of name and address. Easy online forms give you access from anywhere and at any time. Every service you need at your fingertips. Go to our website, luselect.com, and click on the Virtual Service Desk widget. LuSelect's Virtual Service Desk. Every solution at your fingertips.
St. Lucia, November 24th, the Soufriere Mini Stadium erupts for one musical night of pleasure. I'm talking about Sundown. Performing live, Kenny G. Whoa, I tell you it's nice situationship, no relationship. And Jamaica's most trending dancehall superstar, Poleon. Valiant. Move out now. And many more to be announced. Get your early bird tickets right now. Regular 110, VIP 250. Get your tickets at all the sell locations. Your Styles Barbershop, Ruby's gas station in Soufriere, Steve's Barbershop, and all W-Mart locations. Sundown, miss it and blame yourself. Follow Luxio_Carnival for updates. This event is sponsored by KFC.
Things are heating up at the National Farmers and General Workers Credit Union Limited. We've got some red-hot deals just for you with 100% financing. Rev up for some excitement with our incredible vehicle loan offer. Building or renovating, we've got you covered. Or pack up for that ideal getaway. This offer won't be available forever. Visit us today and take advantage of this limited time deal. Don't miss out on these fantastic deals with 100% financing. Only at the National Farmers and General Workers Credit Union Limited. We're your friend when you're in need.
If you suffer with pain from fibromyalgia, lupus, sickle cell anemia, sciatica, or arthritis, Lockley DeCoste doctor specialists from overseas in St. Lucia will diagnose and treat patients who have been suffering long. Lockley DeCoste specialists will treat the symptoms of stroke, brain injuries, spinal cord injuries with shoulders, elbows, knees, back, and neck pain, even plantar fasciitis being a pain of the past. Lockley DeCoste specialists in St. Lucia EMG tests will measure the damage in neuromuscular disorders and diabetic neuropathy because Lockley DeCoste doctor specialist provides proper diagnosis using the most effective treatment for you to live free of pain.
La Clinique Duco. Call 451-6559 or 721-9950. La Clinique Duco, located at number 17 High Street, Castries.
Why pay full price for your mobile when you can pay half? Just bundle your home internet and mobile services with Flow and save 50% on your mobile bill. That's money in your pocket every month. Plus, now you get free YouTube and WhatsApp data. And you can share your plan with up to 3 other numbers. Upgrade now and get a free smartphone. Switch and keep your number. Learn more at discoverflow.co.
Night Meds is your dependable neighborhood pharmacy. You'll notice that upon entry, you are greeted by caring professional staff, attentive to your every need. Your prescriptions are always treated with a high degree of confidentiality, and we pride ourselves on providing speedy, efficient service. We carry a wide array commonly requested over-the-counter products, and our prices are very competitive. We offer blood pressure testing, blood sugar, and cholesterol testing. We're open to fill your prescriptions Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Come visit Sadhu's gas station on the Miku Highway or call us at 572-6840 or WhatsApp 461-6840 for more information. Night Meds Pharmacy. We are your community med store.
Can't get a break from all this tax? Head to Automotive Art and get a taxcation. Automotive Art is offering you an ease from VAT and health and safety levy with savings of up to 15% and more. That's right, 15% of all tools, 15% of all accessories, 15% of car detailing, 15% of all rims, 15% of computerized wheel alignment, and 15% and more of selected tires with savings of up to 30% on some sizes. It's Automotive Art Taxation. Visit us at Automotive Art at Vidbutei Castries and Latuni Vieux today and enjoy a taxation. Offer valid for limited time. Some conditions apply. See stores for details.
Music check. Vibe check. The experience check. The brunch of the century is coming. Welcome to Sunburst, presented by Power 97.9 FM. Sunday, November 26th at Bayview Escape, VG Cove. Your heavy hitters, DJ Chens, DJ Mikey, Hollywood HP, and Power 97.9's FM DJ Fraternity. Early bird tickets are $130 and $180 for regular. Sunburnt is an ultra food inclusive starting at 11 a.m. Get your tickets right now at Steve's Barbershop and Power 97 FM's office in VG. It's the brunch of the century. Sunday, November 26th at Bayview Escape, VG Cove. Party in the land of the heat. Sunburnt, presented by Power 97.9 FM and sponsored by Digicel, Quartz, Ready Cash, and Desperado. Welcome to Sunburnt. Sunburnt. Live, laugh, and dance.
When you look back at it, eye contact, I go make you feel my contact.
452-2979, 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages. 716-2026, 716-2026. WhatsApp message: the minibus drivers should be on strike from the time Minister King made the statement about them. I hope the minibus drivers take a page from Jamaica. That person also says, BCF officer firearm is missing. Where did it go and who has it? We have a call. Good afternoon. Oh, we lost that call. 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. And let me see if I have some more of your messages. Somebody says there, Tim, the Castries Health Center has been trying to solve a mold situation for eons now. It has reached a point where currently there is no clinic at the Castries Health Center. If this building has been recently renovated, what should we expect of building conditions when they renovate the old St. Jude's? And let's see another one. It says there, Tim, the caller is right. St. Lucian children were getting citizenship from time immemorial. Labour Party gets the support of the technocrats to articulate points as if it is for the first time under Labour something is happening when it was there for ages. And for March next year, the road will be packed with even public sector workers like teachers, etc. PJP is right. Free food, money, and rum. United Workers' Party has a fight on their hands. People love being poor and handed things. That's what Labour Party is about. 452-2979. We have a call. Good afternoon. You are on the air.
PJP is
Hello.
right.
Good afternoon.
And rum.
Hello, good afternoon. Is this NewsSpin?
Yes, this is NewsSpin, and you are on the air.
Tim, I just want to add my 2 cents to the reason why the young people are not interested in politics. You would turn it to a good parliamentary debate in the House, and there's a back and forth. The question is, how do we get young people interested in that? The mentality of the politicians need to change from not one side, from not UW side, UWP, or SLP. Both sides are guilty of insulting one another. So at the end of the day, if young people are supposed to be interested in politics, the politicians must work in the best interest of the young people. Young people look forward to debates, you know. I am a young person, or I consider myself young, in my 40s, and I remember being at university, and St. Lucians were the one that would stand up. St. Lucians would be protesting, but I do not know what is going on. They're slowly killing that culture, and the politicians need to realize that young people are listening. When you look at, when I remember the days of John Odlum, I used to enjoy listening to him. But now, when we have parliament sitting and political debate, the young people are not interested because you know why? The insult that goes from one side to the next. And that mentality, that needs to change. And even on your show, Tim, even in the comments sometimes, you put your point of view, and people already they're ready to devour you by just your comments. That freedom of expression is slowly being taken away from us. So I think all of us, all the politicians, they have a very important part to play. Young people are listening, and they do look forward to a good political debate. That's my contribution this afternoon.
Is that my loyal cousin?
No, it's not your loyal cousin. This is just, my name is Saleh Dupre Camille. I just had to make that contribution.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Let's continue with your calls at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have another call. No, we have lost that call. All right, let's take this call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Ben, how are you?
I'm okay, sir. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you talking any specific topic this afternoon?
As usual, NewsSpin does not have a specific topic, sir. What's in your mind?
I just wanted to come back to something. I wanted to come back to something that people seem to be unwilling to speak about, which is hard money. Do you remember what was the original estimate to get some sort of medical facility for the south of the island in Viewfort? You remember what the original estimate was?
To me, it was below. It was very much below $100 million.
If I recall,
what was it?
Below.
Yeah,
it was about $2 million.
About that, yes.
You remember?
Yeah,
$2 million. Now, some 10 years later, we're talking about $400 million going upwards. Okay? Now, I know you're not an engineer, but I want to ask you a question. In the normal context of things, let's say a project costing about $5 million. What would you be prepared to accept as an acceptable cost overrun?
You say if it's $5 million, at least, let's say 5.5 maybe?
5.5, 10%.
Yeah.
Which is the normal thing you find people throwing for contingencies and stuff like that. Do you know that on the estimate of $400 million is going to go above that? Do you realize it's going to be about 19,900% to get us a hospital facility in the current world prices of today, taking everything into consideration? 19,900%. And I think in a lot of decisions that the young people are making, I do not believe they focus on those things which can perhaps be even more outstanding to them. I'll give you another example. The bridge that was built at Bois d'Orange, I don't know if you recall the conversations around that bridge, but I remember discussing it at the time with a quantity surveyor, and he told me, being very generous, the best he could come out, the most expensive he could come for building that bridge was about $4 million.
What, it ended up being about what, 11 million?
Generous.
Was it about 11 million?
It came in at about 11 million.
Yeah.
And this is one of the top quantity surveyors in the Eastern Caribbean. $4 million. When we went across to the building at Union, How much did that building come in at? Can you recall?
No. Ministry of Communications and Works building?
That one came in, yes.
Yeah.
It came in at about $20 million or just over. And when you go into that building, you understand why. It has a huge footprint, but the design of the building, there isn't many complications in that, right? There's a big hollow thing in the center, etc., and so on. It came in at about 23 million, if I recall. Again, he estimated that should have costed no more than about $15 million. Now, if we take in him at his word, and we accumulate all those overruns we have over the years, we are giving our money away.
Yeah.
Now, these are the things I think people have to be focusing on, and do not be distracted by a lot of things going around you. You've got to be concerned about what has happened. Focus on what has happened. So when somebody comes in front of you, you can think in a critical sense and ask them to justify the kind of numbers we're doing. Now, the other thing we've got to realize, do we realize that a lot of the people who presided over that accumulation of costs at St. Jude's are still in government?
Very much so.
And these people were paid for the last 10, 15 years salaries, and they're still in government, and they still stand in front of you, and they still explain to you how they think things should be done. When they were then, some of them didn't even stand up in the House of Assembly and protest something which they thought was wrong, although they were not in a position to affect it.
I mean, right now, what we're hearing is, let us just complete the hospital and move on. Let us not blame this side.
Exactly.
Oh, that's what we are hearing, Let's not blame this side or that side. But
Exactly.
in more developed jurisdictions, questions will be asked. You'd have to appear before various committees, and you'd have to explain certain things, because the whole thing is that you don't want it to be repeated. You don't want it to be the norm.
Precisely. And it's laughable now.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
And it's laughable. People who were on opposite sides of the argument, if you will, they are all on the same side now, and there's no attempt to even satisfy the taxpayer that the money is being properly spent. And it's hurtful, and I think that the younger person should be looking at those things when these guys come in front of them and say, I am going to do. Because the question should be, what have you done? These people who are there boasting that they've been in the house for 10, 15, 20 years, what they should be doing is explaining sometimes, for example, during that 10, 20 years, whatever they've been there, can you name me one piece of legislation that you fathered and pushed through the house?
Yeah.
Any such thing. But you can't get it from any one of them. They've been there for 20 years.
Well, what would be explained to you is that they stayed in that position for so long, maybe 3 decades, primarily because the electors were satisfied with their performance. And I don't know if you can challenge that, unless if you want to question the quality of voters that we have.
Well, I'm coming to that also. But I don't think it's so much that they were satisfied with their performance. I don't think people even looked at that in this country here. It's a matter of popularity. For example, you may be as competent as you can be, anybody. If this individual comes from Castries C, and he goes and he wants to represent one of the Mikud seats, the people there will reject him. Why? Because he's not from Mikud. Although he may have had somebody from that area who has done absolutely nothing for 10, 15 years. It all comes down now to the electorate. What do they want? Do they want somebody they used to have to go to school with, or they've known him all their life, they saw him as a little boy, now he has a degree, etc., and he wants to run, I will support him? People have got to stop and start to think about its results, it's money. Money is not as cheap as it was a long time ago. It's difficult to get now. We are begging out. Most times we have money in this country, we're begging, Taiwan has about 10 or 11 countries that support them at a global level. So they are willing to spend as much as they can, and we are willing to collect. A lot of the money they're spending is not going the places it should be going. And we don't complain about that. We keep on listening to the same promises from the same people, and we believe in the same stories. I mean, it has to be us. At what point in time are we going to stop and query what these guys are coming in front of you and say, show me, make it make sense? So these guys now, the same, I don't know, 15, 18 of them, whatever, who have been in the house for all these years, and the St. Jude Hospital is a classic case where we are left holding the bag. They've gone on to other things now. They've gone on to the harbor. And now they've given away how many years cash flow for 40 million US. And the equation is there. It's right in front of you. $40 million cash flow for an investment of 30 million or 40 million US dollars. Is that right? And this is the sort of thinking the young people should be doing. Do not just follow people blindly because they've been wrong and just assume that they are right. We cannot. Look at what's happened in the police force. We have a situation where the guy who was acting as commissioner was accused, a complaint was made to the association by some policemen that he behaved in a manner which is inappropriate. He has been extricated from the situation, sent off to Taiwan, I understand, to do some training, which is probably going to take about a year. In a year's time, anything could happen. The ladies could have moved on with their lives. They figured they cannot wait to get this thing resolved, because in St. Lucia, there's one instance, I remember there was a rape case. It happened to the lady when she was 15, and when it was in her 30s, it came up. So this thing will last, and then he will come back, and he will be slotted into the position that he left. And we say nothing. These are the things that young people should be about. Look at the case involving, we have a minister who has been doing whatever he wanted on radio and television for a long time. Everybody seems to be frightened to speak out about it. And people tell you that they are scared. This is the only country in the world where this would happen. Any reasonable country, any democratic country, a minister who behaved in such a way, he would have been called in by the police commissioner. And by the way, he promised to send a file to the police commissioner. Do you know if that has happened?
Not to my knowledge.
He would have compiled a file where he was supposedly bribed or attempted to be bribed by two other ministers. Has that gone as yet? We do not connect the dots. We sit aside and then we start to cry and we say that there's no opportunity for young people, blah, 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 blah. The young people have got to take it. It's not going to be given to them. It's the same thing when I was a young person. It was always like that. You had to fight for whatever you wanted. But now we have the attitude when they have a lot more than we had when we were young, and they don't use what they have. And they say people not giving them. In this world, nobody gives you anything. You have to stand and fight. And they have to understand that don't let people put a rubbish in your mouth and tell you that it's food. Question everything. If you're outside in the rain and a politician tells you it's raining, ask him how does he know? Because he may well have a galvanizer above you all and he's draining the water into it and causing the water to fall on you. Ask him. We have to question every single thing they say, no matter if they're upset. And if they are genuine, they wouldn't get upset. And that's what I want to urge young people. Question everything. Absolutely everything. Do not take it for granted. And when people come up to you with stories, ask them to simple thing, show me. Do not accept it. This hospital should not be costing for. I am ashamed when I'm speaking to people outside St. Lucia to say that we have a hospital that has taken 11 years to build. There's nothing in it as yet, not one piece of equipment. We've down $400 million in the hole and climbing. We can't be serious as a country. We cannot. The younger people have got to be. And you were mentioning earlier about who voted this government in. I think it was the young people. You were speaking earlier, and you were giving us the impression that the young people are more discerning than the older folk. That's not true. The young people voted this government in, majority. When you look at the electorate, the profile of the electorate, it's mainly young people who voted. And the people who are there, the people who created the problems in the country, they are the ones. Look at the state of the roads. Who created the state of the roads? There's one common factor for the roads in St. Lucia for the last 15, 20 years. And that factor is still there, and it's starting to rain now. We're going forward into the next year. Rain again. We've been hearing that story. We got to take it as it is. All over the world, people are demonstrating against the war in what's it name?
Palestine
In
and
the
Israel.
East, Hamas and Israel. Yeah, this is a global thing. This thing is going to affect every single country in the world. So Bolivia in Latin America, the people are marching in Bolivia, they're marching in Chile, they're marching in France, they're marching in Italy. The Caribbean, nothing is being said. Have you noticed that? There's not a grant coming out of the Caribbean. It's as if it's not going to affect, it's not our business. It affects everybody. And what we've seen over there, all you can say, at what point in time do you stop and reflect? If, for example, supposing the police were to go in to cordon off, say, a place like Wilton's Yard, cordon it off, and then move in there and use drones at night to drop bombs in there until they kill everybody on. Would we stand aside and watch what is happening? That's what's happening in Gaza. And there's not a word coming out of it. What is the position of our government? We don't know. These are the things that younger people have to be interested in, not the stuff that I hear them speaking. So I get a little bit peeved when I hear them talk about the older people that want to move aside. You have to make them move aside by dint of your competence, and not so much qualifications, but what you can do. Well, we have to take the bull by the horns and stop kowtowing. When people come in front of you and talk nonsense, tell them they're talking nonsense. Say it in a respectful manner, because it's always important to treat people with a certain degree of respect. Sometimes it's better to walk away. Example, I understand Stevenson King is going into the constituency and he's trying to convince the people there that he will be running as an independent in the next election. Really? Would any sensible, or should any sensible person even allow King to come by his front door it doesn't make sense. Everything is there before you. You saw what happened. No, why would anybody listen to him? Believe it or not, there are people listening. There are people listening. We seem to have, there's an absence of common sense in this country. And this is what's killing us. We are always waiting. Either we're praying or we're waiting or whatever. We're always waiting for somebody else to do it for you. They don't want to march. I remember the first march I took part in my life was back in 75. I was teaching at St. Mary's College then. All of us who went on strike, we were out for about 3 months, I think. We didn't get paid, but there were a bunch of people who refused to go on march, and they got paid. And this is the majority of St. Lucians, I find. They don't fight for what they want. They let other people go on, take the heat, come afterwards, and they are smart. We have got to wake up. It's not an easy pace. The world is not going to give us anything.
All right, sir.
And the mess that we have that passes of the government at the moment, we have to find a way to address it, because we are going absolutely nowhere. We're certainly not benefiting from it. Globally, last point, Tim, when you listen to the IMF, the World Bank, all the international organizations, there's one consistent thing they've been saying from the time COVID came in and in the years afterwards. The governments of the day have got to find a way to assist the vulnerable, the poor, the disadvantaged. Certainly new taxes are out of the window. Nobody's expecting to put any taxes. And you go to all the conferences all over the world, they say the same story. What's been happening in St. Lucia? We get hit for a tax that affects almost every single commercial activity in this country. And again, we say nothing. I'm not surprised when the Prime Minister says he thanks people for accepting the tax. They did. They absolutely did. Thanks, Tim.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me take the opportunity to play you that clip of the Prime Minister of St. Lucia speaking on the levy and justifying why the levy should be or should have been imposed on the people of St. Lucia, the levy of 2.5%. And people are definitely, those who call this broadcast from time to time complain about it. But as you heard from the last caller, the Prime Minister had the gumption. He certainly had the courage. He was buoyed by certain things when he said that, he'd like to actually thank the people of St. Lucia for accepting the levy.
The health and security levy is an investment by all of us to fund those who cannot afford it. The health and security levy will ensure that the incremental steps to universal health care will happen. And we have to fund it. And asking for 2.5% on imported goods, not food.
And he says imported goods, not food. But you'd recall I read you at least part of it. I read it in its entirety, but the relevant part of a letter that was written to the employees of Massey Stores. And it says there, part of the reason for the increase in the price of food items at the supermarkets is, quote, local new levies on imported goods. Local new levies on imported goods. You are watching NewsSpin on our NewsSpin Facebook page, also on YouTube, and you're listening to the broadcast on Power 97.9 FM. Still to come, Michael Willius, the Deputy Chair of the governing St. Lucia Labour Party, speaks on dishonorable politicians.
Lazarus's funeral home is here for you. Lazarus's private cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's private cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's funeral home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbouté at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Introducing the new Lou Select Virtual Service Desk, where one click is your access to every service. From my account to streetlight reports, requests for payment arrangements to settle arrears, change of name and address. Easy online forms give you access from anywhere and at any time. Every service you need at your fingertips. Go to our website, LouSelect.com, and click on the Virtual Service Desk widget. Lou Select's Virtual Service Desk. Every solution at your fingertips.
First National Bank says get the home you've always wanted with zero down. That's right, as we celebrate more than 85 years of being here for you as the first indigenous bank. We're giving 85 individuals 100% financing to achieve their dream of home ownership. This is possibly the most important decision you'll ever make. 100% financing for your dream home. Call.
Why pay full price for your mobile when you can pay half? Just bundle your home internet and mobile services with Flow and save 50% on your mobile bill. That's money in your pocket every month. Plus, now you get free YouTube and WhatsApp data. And you can share your plan with up to 3 other numbers. Upgrade now and get a free smartphone. Switch and keep your number. Learn more at discoverflow.co.
Things are heating up at the National Farmers and General Workers Credit Union Limited. We've got some red-hot deals just for you with 100% financing. Rev up for some excitement with our incredible vehicle loan offer. Building or renovating, we've got you covered. Or pack up for that ideal getaway. This offer won't be available forever. Visit us today and take advantage of this limited time deal. Don't miss out on these fantastic deals with 100% financing. Only at the National Farmers and General Workers Credit Union Limited. We're your friend when you're in need.
Wake me up. Wake me up. St. Lucia, November 24th, the Soufrière Mini Stadium erupts for one musical night of pleasure. I'm talking about Sundown. Sundown, performing live, Kenny G. Whoa, I tell you, it's nice situationship. No relationship. And Jamaica's most trending dancehall superstar, Poleon. Valiant. Hey. Move out my way. And many more to be announced. Get your early bird tickets right now. Regular 110, VIP 250. Get your tickets at all the Cell locations. Your Styles Barbershop, Ruby's gas station in Soufrière, Steve's Barbershop, and all W Mart locations. Sundown, visit and blame yourself. Follow Luxio_Carnival for updates. This event is sponsored by KFC.
If you suffer with pain from fibromyalgia, lupus, sickle cell anemia, sciatica, or arthritis. Luckily, because doctor specialists from overseas in St. Lucia will diagnose and treat patients who have been suffering long. Luckily, the core specialists will treat the symptoms of stroke, brain injuries, spinal cord injuries with shoulders, elbows, knees, back, and neck pain, even plantar fasciitis being a pain of the past. Luckily, the core specialists in St. Lucia EMG tests will measure the damage in neuromuscular disorders and diabetic neuropathy because, luckily, the core doctor specialist provides proper diagnosis using the most effective treatment for you to live free of pain.
La Clinique Ducor. Call 451-6559 or 721-9950. La Clinique Ducor, located at number 17 High Street, Castries.
Can't get a break from all this tax? Head to Automotive Art and get a taxcation. Automotive Art is offering you an ease from VAT and health and safety levy with savings of up to 15% and more. That's right, 15% of all tools, 15% of all accessories, 15% of car detailing, 15% of all rims, 15% of computerized wheel alignment, and 15% and more of selected tires with savings of up to 30% on some sizes. It's Automotive Art Taxcation. Visit us at Automotive Art at Vidbouteille Castries and Latunivier for today and enjoy a taxcation. Offer valid for limited time. Some conditions apply. See stores for details.
Music check. Vibe check. The experience check. The brunch of the century is coming. Welcome to Sunburst, presented by Power 97.9 FM. Sunday, November 26th at Bayview Escape, VG Cove. Your heavy hitters, DJ Chens, DJ Mikey, Hollywood HP, and Power 97.9's FM DJ Fraternity. Early bird tickets are $130 and $180 for regular. Sunburnt is an ultra food inclusive starting at 11 a.m. Get your tickets right now at Steve's Barbershop and Power 97 FM's office in VG. It's the brunch of the century. Sunday, November 26th at Bayview Escape, VG Cove. Party in the land of the heat. Sunburnt, presented by Power 97.9 FM and sponsored by Digicel, Quartz, Ready Cash, and Desperado. Welcome to Sunburnt. Sunburnt. Live, laugh, and dance.
Eye contact, I go make you feel my contact.
Continue with your calls. We have a WhatsApp call as we say hello and good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello. Good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon to Mr. Leader of the Opposition.
How are you, sir?
I'm all right. What's in your mind?
Very recently, we got information that we had to try to confirm. We've pretty much confirmed the information, and that is that GPH are going to be borrowing money from the Bank of St. Lucia to undertake the project that they have. What is very worrisome about this, Tim?
If it is true,
this is the same.
Mr. Leader, if it is true, because we need confirmation from the government of St. Lucia, the investment minister, Dr. Ernest Taylor, on this issue. But continue.
Yep. Well, it would be a good opportunity for them to provide the confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
But my understanding is that it is true that the Bank of St. Lucia and a consortium of banks are going to be lending GPH the funds to undertake the project in St. Lucia. Now, this is a project, as you know, that has been shrouded in secrecy. We heard a minister speak about secret meetings. We heard a government saying that they were going to be transparent and make the details of the contract available, which they have not. And you have a prime minister who said that he doesn't put out the details because he leaves it to speculation. Well, there's a lot for us to speculate on. So if in fact that the loan is being made by the Bank of St. Lucia, what happens if the project goes belly up? What happens to the Port of St. Lucia? What happened to the Labour Party when they were in opposition, when they opposed the loan that was being made by the consortium banks to HIA? And remember, the HIA project, the money was being borrowed by SLASPA, a government entity. So We know that this is a sweetheart deal because you're talking about government of St. Lucia is getting back a $40 million investment and assigning all of the revenue for the port, for the cruise ship port, for 40 years. And we know just by simple numbers that that's almost $400 million in revenue that the government of St. Lucia is going to be foregoing. And then to turn around and for the company to borrow the money from a local bank. Now, what is also equally worrying, Tim, is that the chairman of Invest St. Lucia, who is Lyndon Arnold, and you would know that Invest St. Lucia was one of the parties to the deal. So my understanding was Invest St. Lucia and SLASPA. Lyndon, in addition to being the chairman of Invest St. Lucia, is also, my understanding, the deputy managing director of the Bank of St. Lucia.
So you're saying there's a conflict there?
Well, it gets even worse because we now saw in a press statement last week that Lance Arnold has been hired as a director of GPH, and Lance is the brother of Lyndon. Now, this is where the government's policy of not saying and not being transparent and leaving things to speculation causes a tremendous amount of damage to the reputation of everyone and creates a lot of skepticism in people's minds. We saw the same criticism cast against Cabot by this Labour Party. And the Cabot deal was for private land in which NIC, and you remember, a large part of NIC's investments are outside of St. Lucia. So here it is, NIC was making an investment in St. Lucia, $10 million, and received a $60 million piece of land that was privately owned as collateral. We don't understand what the terms of this deal are and the loan. And why, after giving such a sweetheart deal, would the government of St. Lucia agree? Because remember, the Bank of St. Lucia, one of the major shareholders is the government of St. Lucia. And the government of St. Lucia also appoints directors on the Bank of St. Lucia, along with NIC. So the fact that all these personalities are involved, and we already know the connection between Lyndon Arnold and the minister himself, which I expressed from day one as being of a major concern, because you have heads of these statutory agencies that I believe at the end of the day are going to be more loyal to the minister than they are going to be to the institutions that they're serving. So I bring this out because this, again, is another major concern for us in the opposition. And we're calling on the government of St. Lucia to be transparent, to do what they said they were going to do, and to make this information available to all of us. And I'm also calling on GPH, because GPH has come in here. At not one point have they attempted to approach the opposition to inform us of what is going on. And I certainly would say that if we got into office, these kinds of conflicts deserve a further investigation and to make sure that St. Lucia is not being hoodwinked in this deal.
All right, thank you so much for calling the broadcast. Leader of the opposition, Mr. Alan Shasti. With regard to monies being borrowed from local banks, including the Bank of St. Lucia, to finance this GPH project, this is the first time I'm hearing this, and the lines are opened. I will give the opportunity to the authorities, the investment minister, the press secretary to the Prime Minister, those people who are in a position to clarify this. Please call the broadcast. I'm anxiously awaiting your call and some kind of clarification with regard to the allegation that was made by the leader of the opposition, Mr. Alan Shastney. Kimani, what's in the chat room?
Someone says they should not let GPH borrow money from a local bank, because if they fail with GPH and leave, they leave the bank in a precarious position with a massive debt. Who the heck is GPH anyway? Do we know who owns that entity and where they originate? When it was DSH with two TOR came, everyone was on Chass's back. Someone says the local bank won't give locals $2 million for business in St. Lucia, but they will loan St. Lucians money to broke corporations. Solutions, y'all are too complacent. Someone says in the chat room, Totally agree with Frank. They have no legislative agenda. Imagine people are concerned about noise pollution and the representative talks about the tense of a letter rather than talk about legislation to assist the police in enforcing the laws. Another comment, someone says they want chicken rum carnival. The Soufrière Bridge cost a third of the cost of the Bois d'Ouage Bridge and was a longer and wider bridge. Make that make sense. A lengthy comment, someone says, the avenue right now, young people are not appreciated or given the opportunity to give their views without the fear that the way politicians are playing dirty if they contest or questions are being asked. Also, as much as the state wants to follow the U.S. in everything, we can't either do just 2 terms and leave food for thought. Also, the question remains why the roads are in this mess, but yearly road tax is being taken from every citizen. Let's not be distracted by what the real problems are, by the incompetence of the persons elected to perform their ordained duties. There is so much we the young people have and are observing. Although we have been quiet, it doesn't necessarily mean we are stupid or blind. Citizens of St. Lucia need to be aware that we have more authority and power to remove even the now government at this moment for their lackadaisical attitude. If you want to know what we are thinking, create an environment where we can be comfortable to give our views without being targeted by persons with positions or the so-called powers that they think they have. But again, food for thought. St. Lucians, we need to stop being or pretending that everything is okay when currently it's not home anymore. Hashtag restore St. Lucia back to the people.
Okay, let's hear now from the Deputy Chair of the governing St. Lucia Labour Party, Mr. Michael Williams, talking about his honorable politicians.
Sometimes I would say I'm disappointed that you move from the generation of John Compton and Bouski and Julian Hunt, and you see some persons who are mature and they come into politics and you expect the mépris and these things to stop, but it just continues. We have people in the politics today, you would expect better of them. You know, it's like we complain that this is not the politics we want, and we get into the politics and we just continue to perpetuate the same behavior. In fact, the behavior is getting worse today. There are a set of politicians in politics today that are 10 times worse than those who were the last generation before. So I agree with you. We need to make the change. The persons who are in leadership position need to conduct themselves in politics in a manner that people see it as an honorable profession. And maybe that's what happened.
Deputy Chair of the governing St. Lucia Labour Party, Michael Williams, speaking earlier today during a mid-morning press conference of the SLP. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Yeah. Tim, how you doing?
I'm okay.
And your friend Kimani?
Kimani, yeah.
Yeah, not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, good afternoon.
I was going to touch on Israel, but not today, but I'd already warned us that this thing is going to affect us bad. But what I want to talk to about the young people, you know, we ask about why they're not getting involved in politics and so on, and some people say because of what's going on. But I want to encourage the young people that they have to get involved with the politics because they are the future of tomorrow, as we say, and we cannot let wicked politicians do as they want and just stand by and say, I'm scared of this, I'm scared of that, and so on. From the start, I have been saying we place all the blame on the youth, on the criminals, and so on. But we have to look at the origin of these things. In the House, we call the guys, the politician, honorable. God help me, I don't see what's honorable in them. Most of them, rather. The things they say, and you know what kills me again? We on the outside, that's in authority and so on, the things we do, we back them up. So the young people are hearing and seeing all these things. And then they follow the same pattern, most of them. And that's why some of them end up to be criminals and all these things. And I want to tell we St. Lucians, you know when these things are going to stop? When we stop saying my party, my party, my party, and say my country. Not my party first or that party I'm backing. my country, the future of my children, the future of my country. That's what I'm concerned about. Yeah, Tim, we're in a lot of trouble in this country. You see the war in Israel, that thing in there? That's going to affect us even worse. Because I heard a caller say when we came from under COVID, IMF and World Bank say government will have to, and politicians, whatever, will have to really help the less fortunate. Look, more strain going to come on the less fortunate. And we are not seeing that happening in most countries, especially in our country. We're not seeing these things happening. And when these things start to affect us, that when Israel is going to be worse. I'll end by saying something, but it's a true story, they say. I don't know. There was a man who fell in a deep hole, and he could not come out. And they say, a doctor passed. He asked the doctor to help me. The doctor took out his pen and piece of paper and wrote a prescription for him. And he sent it in the hole for the guy. Then they say a priest passed. He asked the priest to help him. The priest took a paper and wrote a prayer for him and sent it in the hole for him. But a guy who is good, that was concerned, that have gone through different trials and have come out victoriously, he went down in that same hole. So when he went down to the hole, the guy said, but you come in the hole. His reply to the guy was, I have been in this hole before, and I know the way out. Come, follow me. This is something for we to think about. Tim, thanks very much.
Thank you so much for calling, Brother Harris. And Brother Harris also said something. He said, making reference to politicians being described as honorable when they're in the House. Now, I have, over several years now, decided when I'm reading the news not to refer to politicians as honorable, because, Kimani, you see it from time to time. Honorable MP for this constituency or any honorable minister, I bypass that, period. Okay, I bypass that, I ignore it. Whether you are an opposition MP or government MP, don't expect me to refer to you or describe you as honorable. For me, that this is unwarranted, because if you, because you're in Parliament, should be described as honorable, what about the honest people in the various parts of St. Lucia? Because they're not holding prominent positions in the society. Somebody from Dennery is a hard-working woman or man, or somebody from Ancillary or Soufre or Viefo. We shouldn't describe those people as honorable, but we have to refer to you as honorable just because you are in the Parliament of St. Lucia. Don't expect me to do that at all. Unless and until I'm working with NTN or the GIS. And I don't expect to ever do that in my lifetime. In the chat room, what's happening?
Someone says, Pastor Ben for Deputy Prime Minister and Harris for PM. Another comment, Mr. Willis made a significant point about the behavior of these honorable politicians. However, he should have mentioned the names of the culprits, but I guess he was fearful of doing so. Someone says, politics... Well,
he mentioned to say that they're not with the side of the SLP. They're not part of the SLP. So he's referring to those people who, these dishonorable politicians, only coming from the Flobo camp.
Another comment, someone says, politics is, has, and will always be a dirty game, not nasty as yet. Another comment, I've always had an interest in politics through my family and even during Leon Hess Secondary High School days and college days. I love politics, but the truth of it all is that politics has become a nasty game. Another comment, the quality of representation depends on the quality of the electorate. Cat don't make dog. Tim, what you see happening in the House of Parliament is the behavior of older men who believe or pretend they are young, and so the young people have no interest in their nonsense. Someone says we need more leaders and less politicians. Another comment, well, Alva will not be able to contest elections because he is from a different country. Let's see. As voters, let us demand debate. I would love it. Political growth and maturity necessitates debate. We can agree on this one, I hope. I look forward to the day when we will have a good political debate in the House. Those politicians must remember that they are there to serve the people. As crazy as this sounds, young people will not be needed in politics because there is soon to be a one-world government. Politicians are the country's role models, and it's a shame how they behave in Parliament. Therefore, the young people watching them see them as a disgrace and are choosing to stay away from this profession. Talking about young people in politics, is there a National Youth Council, and why is this group, which is supposed to advance the interests of young people, suddenly gone silent on issues affecting young people? Another comment in the chat room. Someone says, God is my honorable.
Okay, let's take a quick call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello?
Jim.
Yes, good afternoon to you, caller.
Good day.
Good afternoon to you.
Jim, that party, that SLP party, they should change it into Sesame Street.
Why, caller? Okay, hang up. All right. Thank you so much. As always, we appreciate every contribution. 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We're getting all set to conclude our broadcast. Let's take a quick call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, but for a while I think you ignored my calls. Anyway.
Not ignoring
Tim,
your call. We have
heard,
so many callers, sir. So many calling the broadcast. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Have you heard anything about an apology letter from the NCOPT? I'm requesting an apology from the minister.
No. Are you in a position to confirm this?
I heard it on another radio station, so I just wondered if it had been made public already, or if it was something that was okay. Well, anyways, if it's at this point in time, I would like to call on them, if it hasn't been done yet, to ask for an official apology from the minister for the statements he made concerning the behavior of the bus drivers, just throwing all of them under the bus like that. I think it was unwarranted. It was very childish. And it's not in keeping with being a statesman. Because at the end of the day, the bus drivers are making a legitimate claim. And if he has no solution to the claim, it would be best for him to say nothing than to come on national TV and radio to insult all the bus drivers in St. Lucia. And if he has evidence of whatever he accused them of, it would be best for him to bring it to the police so that they could be prosecuted, because that behavior is shameful as well, and it needs to stop in St. Lucia. So on both sides of the road, he is not doing a good job. So he needs to get himself in order and start working as a minister.
Okay, so thank you so much.
Okay, good.
And finally from us, our NewsSpin News of the Day. NewsSpin News of the Day. Well, it reads there, developing countries owe China $1.1 trillion and the debts are due. Developing countries owe China $1.1 trillion and the debts are due. Our NewsSpin News of the Day. That's a broadcast. Thank you so much for watching and listening to the most monitored talk show in the world, and that's NewsSpin. My name is Timothy Poleon. We'll be back, God willing, tomorrow afternoon, same time, 12:30, with another edition of the broadcast. Goodbye.